today, I want to
Welcome.
discuss networking events in our industry, particularly the Club Solutions Leadership Retreat. Kaiser has been a sponsor since 2018, which is a little hard to believe, almost
I
7
know it's
years.
gone quick. Yeah.
But what made you say yes the first time to sponsoring this event?
I think the biggest thing for me was we've been to so many trade shows where you get 6,000 people through and you maybe get 2 minutes, 3 minutes with a person if you're lucky. The one thing I liked about the Club Solutions events was that I could see I could get to build a relationship with somebody. And so over a 3 day period, I'm going to have enough time with them, not just this sort of in the demo hours, but also just at lunch, dinner, breakfast. I find a little bit more about the individual, what actually makes them tick, what motivate them, a little bit more about their business as well. So instead of trying to get as much information as you can within a 5 minute period, over the 3 day period, you really get to know somebody in a so much better format. So for me, straight away after we did the first event, we realized that's where we really wanted to put our investment into these type of events that just give us that little extra time with the customer.
Yeah. I think one thing that is unique about the retreat is that the sponsors are involved in the roundtables with the attendees. You're a part of the education. Can you maybe speak to your experience on that?
Absolutely. I think for me, that's probably one of the most important parts of that because it's amazing how much information you actually get from those roundtables. You really get to understand what the business is going through, what solutions they're looking for, the questions and answers that they are looking for. And a lot of times you suddenly realize, actually, I have that solution for them. And by not listening and understanding what the business is going through, how can we actually then give them an idea of what Kaiser in this concept can actually help them? I think the roundtables are an essential part of the process. Really do. Really enjoy those.
It's good to hear. Could you maybe speak to the quality of the room? Who is there and why does that matter to you as a sponsor?
Yeah, I think the nice thing is it's good decision makers, but those that have a really good understanding of what the business is about. And for me, I attend for two reasons. Obviously, one is to get business, but the second one is to learn where the industry is actually going. And if the industry is going in one direction, but Kaiser's going another, then we have to rectify that. And so by having really good thought leaders on the tables, that's what I really like about it. Is the quality of the attendee is high end. I can come away from this really understanding where the industry is going in the next 12 months. And that then helps me to decide where Kaiser then needs to move in that direction too. So yeah, very, very useful.
I know you're saying that you kind of get a scope of where the industry is headed at the retreat and part of the roundtables. Are there any other conversations or outcomes that you've had at the event that you maybe don't get at, as much at other industry events?
Oh, I think the biggest thing is the time because you've got time to go and have lunch with somebody and you've got 50 minutes. And so therefore you can have really nice in-depth conversations and actually conversations that take you into a totally different direction that you ever thought would you go into, but it actually helps you to understand where you fit within their spectrum and with their motivations of where they're moving forward and everything else. So for me, I think really it's more the fact you've got time to just really understand business in a so much bigger format. That's where a lot of times we're sort of cocooned in our little regions, and it's really good to understand where you sort of fit within the whole scope of that business and how that operation works. So for me, I learned so much from probably the social sides of that because people are more relaxed and therefore they just talk a little bit more about all aspects of the business, which is really helpful. If you listen, you learn a lot, but you have to go out there. You have to go there with that listening intent.
I know our attendees truly value that aspect of it as well, building the relationships with the vendors. They're not just being sold at 24/7. They're actually getting to know you all and forming that relationship, which has led them to work with a lot of the sponsors who sponsor the event. So I know it's a two-way street.
Absolutely. I love the fact of I can have a conversation with somebody and we don't have to talk Kaiser for an hour. And that's great because a lot of times, as you say, you buy from people you trust and you like. And so for me, I love that format where you can just know the individual and understand a little bit more about what that business actually caters for. I really enjoy it.
So you've been sponsoring for 8 years. Is there a specific moment or relationship from the past retreats that have stuck out to you most?
There's one, it was a customer that wasn't quite sure about, and he was looking for bikes and really didn't know what to go with. And at the start with, he sort of said, I think I've heard of Keiser, but not too sure. And so we had breakfast together. And then he said, I want to have lunch together. And then it was dinner. And then we literally, wherever I sat, he came and sat with me, and it ended up with 300 bike order. But it was amazing just that we were able to build that relationship over those sort of 2 days. And then he came to trust me. Then he was asking me questions that I'd never been asked before. But it was amazing to sort of think, wow, that's the type of knowledge and questions we need to know. So I was able to then go back to my staff and say, okay, these are the type of questions that you're going to get asked. He opened up different avenues that we'd never even thought of. That's what I love, because you never quite know where it's going to go. And this turned into a conversation that he didn't seem to be that serious, and ended up to being a very, very lucrative business. But you never know. And I think that's the point. You should treat everybody as the same level and respect. And it's amazing when you do that, what can come from it.
Absolutely. And I know that the benefit of our event is the sponsors are engaged with the attendees all the time, but we do have dedicated demo times so you can highlight your products. Can you maybe share a little bit about your experience with the demo times?
Yeah, the nice thing about the demo is we've already met with people to start with. All Club Solutions events, they do really nice job of making you feel comfortable the day one. They have a team building dinner, and that really helps because that just calms everybody down on day one. And therefore, when you get to the demo hour, you're not sort of introducing yourself to people. They already know you. You've already got some camaraderie. So that really just helps. And so it means that the demo hour, you're not spending sort of minutes trying to introduce yourself. You already know people, and therefore you can get into business a little bit quicker, but it's just more comfortable. So I think that it's really nice mix of making people feel comfortable. Where at trade show, you've only got that 3-4 minutes. You don't have to panic so much in that demo hour because you know you've already got them again the next day and the day after as well. So it really does help to sort of relax, and therefore I think it comes across much better with the member too.
If a fellow supplier in the industry was maybe on the fence about sponsoring, what would you tell them about this event to make them make a decision?
I think that for me, it's value for money. If you could tell me that I could spend XYZ money and know I've got 60 people that I'm going to be able to talk to over a 2.5-day period, I'm going to have all their information about them. I'm going to know all the details that I can do. That in itself, if you spread that over the 60 people, the cost is pretty good, because you can go to some of the big shows where, as I say, you get 2-3 minutes. You're not quite sure what details you're going to get from the badge. You know, that also depends of how much information they give. So I think that if you're looking to spend your bucks, and let's be honest, every dollar means a lot now to everybody. And that's one of the reasons we started with Club Solutions with just one event, and then realized very quickly what that could do. I'm not asking you guys to do another 4 or 5 events, but if you did, we would probably invest in this type of event than we would do maybe some of the bigger shows where you have a bigger booth. I think the return on investments is much better, but you build relationships that you just wouldn't be able to build in another situation. So we're big fans of this. We bring 2 people now because we want to make sure that we get to meet with all the 60 people. So that's another important point. So we always bring 2. So we invest ourselves and make sure that we sit in different tables so we can get to speak to everybody in a much better and even manner. So I think it's a must if you do it. I think it's definitely worth the try, but always come here that you're going to be involved. If you just come here and sit to wait like some other trade shows, then you're not going to get a good return. You've got to be invested in the whole package, and that means going to all the socials and going to the roundtables and listen. If you listen, there's a lot of information that you can take from that, which will help you for future businesses.
Well, thank you so much, Alastair, for taking the time. We really value your partnership, and I know that you're a hit among our staff. You always bring fun energy to the events, and you typically walk away winning a lot of the team building activities as well. I don't know what that's about, but you're always a winner.
I know, I do love to, and that, to be honest, I have won quite a few times, which has been nice, and that does help because obviously I wear the medal, and so when in the demo hour, we always then have a little bit of banter with people that don't have the medals and that type of thing. It does help, and again, it relaxes the whole environment, which then just means it's a much easier conversation. So it's fun, and yeah, if you're going to go in there to enjoy every moment of it, and you'll get a lot more out of it. Thank you guys for putting on some great shows and keeping the integrity of what you did 8 years ago. You've still made sure that you're doing that, and for me, that's a big thing.